For more videos like this, make sure you subscribe to www.blackeducationalnetwork.com.
Like, share, and subscribe. That shit Federal TV. Blah.
5 years than children. And I don't know why the networks keep feeding this child thing to us. And 80% of all deaths over there in the last 5 years have been from the water, not from lack of food. So what does that mean? That means if 80% of everybody died over there have died from water, the condition of the water, and not from lack of food, then with the Marines over there canning bread and not canning pure drinking water, you still got a problem.
Yes,
so we have to ask, what is the game? You know, we live in a country today that will recycle a can but won't recycle a wino. Okay?
Yeah.
I mean, you reach under wino to get an aluminum can. Say, excuse me. Say, you want me? Say, oh no, we're just getting this can.
Yeah.
And so, let's look at Somalia for a minute.
The food isn't going to do them any good.
None. I mean, let's think about this for a minute. You got the news media secure the beach with no guns. We take 30,000 Marines and a bunch of foreigners to come in to deliver a loaf of bread. Now, what they haven't told us is in July the 24th, 1982, America airlifted weapons to Somalia. I mean, like it was no tomorrow. And then here's another thing you have to ask yourself. When you turn on TV and see them little 17-year-old youngsters with an AK-47 assault rifle, but they got on them raggedy outfits and them sandals, and somebody got to say, where you getting these new guns but can't get new shoes? Where are the guns? And ain't it funny? Out of all the news that's coming out of there, not once do anybody dare try to tell us where the guns is coming from. They're not making guns over there.
Oh, no.
All right? They got guns over there the Israeli army been trying to buy, and America won't sell it to them. And so when you stop and think that in August of 1982, we sent $5.5 million between 1982 and 1987, we have put $300 million in military hardware, and in a 7-year period from 1981 to 1988, $500 million. But all at once, the American people, with all of these networks that's fighting over one another to show us the news, how come somebody didn't tell me all the money, tax money, because Americans don't know that. They think we just getting involved in that country. And now with that type of money we have invested, see what happened is there's two groups of hoodlums over there. There's the ones that the Russians is backing, so the Russians ain't supposed to be Russians no more, so they sending it through Iran. And there's the ones we backing. Our thugs is losing, okay? And any of y'all got some loved ones over there, I say pray for them, and I tell you pray for them for this reason. They show you them little snotty-nosed punks. They're the same two pickup trucks I always show with their little
all the time.
Those folks over there is born guerrillas. For 2,000 years, all they know is fighting. They beat up the French. They beat up the Italian army so bad and humiliated them, the country almost collapsed. They beat up the British. And the other day, if you notice, when the French marched in, they took their embassy back and raised their flag. They didn't want to do that for a long time. But we don't understand because the news tell us what they want to tell us. But those are clannish groups over there. And you had this hoodlum thug leader that just overthrew the government and murdered people. I mean, he murdered so many people that embarrassed the Russians, and that's almost hard to do.
Khrushchev.
And then we went in and took over. Yeah. And so, you know, somewhere we have to ask ourselves, why are we over there and for what?
And what are we over there for?
See, there's a hidden... Here's what we over there for. Our side's losing. So we send all those Marines in, and then all once you say, they're coming home. You notice now they say, they won't be there that long. That's how we get equipment in. You see?
Okay.
That's not hard to figure out, right?
No, they leave the equipment.
Leave the equipment.
Yes.
Leave the tanks. Build the roads.
They did that in the Near East, didn't it? The Middle East?
They just did it with the war we just finished fighting.
Yeah.
But now, wait a minute now. You can hit up on something. They didn't leave it in Kuwait. They left them in Iraq. They left that equipment. They left billions of dollars. Matter of fact, there's a big investigation going on now, something like $13 billion with the military hardware was left for our friend and buddy Saddam Hussein, who they make like they mad at.
They ain't mad at that.
You know, when I see Saddam Hussein and Bush Arch, you know what I think about? You and Jose.
We both love each
And
other.
if anybody tuned in late, they say they really don't like each other.
Yeah,
But if you tuned in early,
yeah.
the whole relationship.
So now what you're saying is the food, the 30,000 Marines plus others aren't going to do any good.
Nothing, because
The folk are still going to die.
and there's a secret agenda. A secret agenda. And then we as African Americans got to think about the racism. I mean, you got some American soldiers and British soldiers, I mean, just outright blunt racism that would whoop you here in America if they had the authority to. What do you think they're going to do over there where they can do it and get away with it? And so what I'm saying is it's going to have to be monitored real close, or we're going to end up with a serious international incident. And the other thing I got to say, the hunger that exists in this country. Now, I'm not saying either or. We are rich enough to feed both, but to make like that we didn't know this hunger exists there is to make like we don't have a CIA. And you know, CBS did something, and you know, I really have to get in touch with Diane Rather, because I trust him, especially after that Malcolm X piece that they did. But I looked at something a week before Christmas. They talked about hunger in America. That segment said Eyes on America. Now just follow this for a minute. It opens up where this white lady is in the house, and she's saying, yes, we don't have enough food to go around. And I said, I'm shocked, because I'm surprised they would show this in a White House. They used to show black folks. So I really sit up in my chair now to see is there ulterior motive. She says, and so what happens is my husband and I, then they're paying into him, we just don't eat. If there's a choice between feeding the children and feeding us, and she's fat. So why did she tell me she can go on without food? Then they shout over to the children who can really be honest and says, how do you feel that your mother and father, you know, go without eating so you can eat? And the little boy said, oh, they eat dinner. Oh, they eat dinner. They totally ignored that, went right back and said the same thing. You know, I mean, you actually, yes, if there's not enough food, we put. Then they flashed to a hospital and a little black baby. They flashed to a ghetto project and a skinny little mother. And then they flashed back to the hospital, and here's what the doctor or the nurse, because I don't know which one, she said, you know, we give these children enough food calorie-wise, but their weight never changes. And then we found out that the parents is eating their food. What a nasty thing, CBS. I dare you to sit up and plant in the subconscious mind that white folks give up their dinner to feed their children, and black folks come to the hospital and eat their food. See, there's something about all mothers, black and white. When they walk out in that car, Jack have fallen on the child, mother, black or white, reach down and lift up that station wagon and pull that baby out. You're not going to eat a baby's food in front of a mother. You can be the daddy. You're not going to eat that baby's food in front of the mother. So why do they give us such nonsense? So the white lady and the husband gives up their food, and the black trifling mother comes to the hospital and eats the food.
Yeah, that is some food. Let me ask you quick, since we're talking about diet, what do you think of milk?
Milk? Milk? You think mother's milk or cow's milk?
Any kind of milk.
Cow's milk. I mean, how you could put something,
how
you could put something, come out of something as ugly as a cow and a little precious baby. Think about that. Cow's milk is for cows and mother. Can you imagine taking some mother's breast milk out in the barn and giving it to the calf? That cow would run you out of town. Don't bring this milk out here. And then they just had, in my book, Natural Diet, came out 1971, on page 60, I document how milk is one of the #1 killers of children. About 4 months ago, in Johns Hopkins University, they held a big press conference, and all these scientists said milk is one of the worst things you can put. Even Dr. Spock was there, and say, we suggest you stop taking milk now. They don't say that about whiskey. They don't say that about dope. They say wean them off. You know. But here, let me tell you. The most important ingredient in milk is not calcium. There's more calcium in corn. There's more calcium in spinach than you find in cow's milk. The most important ingredient in milk is called casein. Casein builds the bone structure to carry the body's weight. Cow's milk has 300 times more casein than mother's milk because cow's milk have to build the bone structure to carry a ton plus.
Yeah.
Whereas mother's milk just have to build the bone structure to carry 175 pounds.
Yeah.
Cow's milk has enough casein because it has to double the weight of the calf within 4 to 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Mother's milk have to double the weight of the baby within 8 to 9 months. Now, let's look at casein that comes out of milk. What do they make with it? Kerosene out of cow's milk. What's the number one thing they make out of casein out of cow's milk? Glue. Now, I ask you, is it a coincidence that the number one milk company in the world, Borden's Milk, just happened to make Elmer's glue? Or do they know something? And it is that gluey stuff that gets in children's chests and some can't throw it off and the lungs collapse. They call it crib death. It's not crib death. It's from cow's milk. And the dairy farmer might not know it. But the dairy scientists know that. And they don't care. And if you go anywhere in the world, now you scientists, the Center for Disease Control right here.
Yeah.
All right, you scientists, I tell you what you do. Find a country that have never used cow's milk, and you'll find a country that's never had crib death. It's that simple. It's that simple. It's
So crib death comes from
cow's milk. Cow's milk. Mother's milk. You see, mother's milk. Do you remember when you was first born?
Hell no.
Oh, okay.
Do you?
Yeah. And I breastfed.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Well, most of us back in them days were breastfed.
Now let me tell you something very interesting about back in them days. When you breastfed back in them days for the first 24 to 36 hours, nothing comes out.
Yeah.
Breast is
Until
sealed.
the milk comes down.
All right.
Yeah, that's what they said.
So now, when the baby is born, the baby lays up in the mother's chest to hear the heartbeat, to get the rhythm, the heartbeat. Now, when the baby pulls on the mother's nipple, for the first 24 hours, two things comes out. There's a little watery substance that comes out that immunes me from diseases, and it also pushes a hormone into that mother that regardless if you and I are brothers and how old we are, she will always know if we happy or sad. Okay? Now that's an awful thing to break up. They take them in the hospital now, and they separate them from the mother. They give them sugar water. Sugar's the number 3 killer on the planet. Okay? They give the baby sugar water, and they feed them out of a bottle. So the mother don't go through that experience. And you know something interesting? If you go back and check the records, you will find out there was a time when the only thing a poor black woman and a poor white woman they'd let them in the hospital for was to have babies. And I'm almost sure it was for that separation, because if I can separate something that intimate, that close, that feeling. And when you look at diets, you have to ask yourself, there's a lot of proteins in a steak. We know that. But cows don't eat steak.
They don't eat any meat at all.
Matter of fact, the meat we eat don't eat meat.
Yes, that's right.
Now, let's think about this. Anything that had blood and cells and life in it, once it dies, it starts decomposing.
Right.
Decomposition is mucus and pus. Now, we can retard the decomposition by refrigeration that slows it up, or we can speed it up by incubation.
Right.
What is your stomach, an incubator or a refrigerator?
Incubator.
So then we speed up the retardation, which is speeding up the conversion of mucus and pus. So I say to you all out there, the next time you go into a restaurant and the waiter or the waitress come up and say, "Can I help you? Can I help you, please?" Instead of asking for corned beef on rye, just ask for pus on white bread. And I bet you won't pay as much.
You certainly won't. And she'll think you're crazy.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
You ever peeled a white potato?
Yeah.
It turns brown in your hand while you peeling it?
Yeah.
Now think about that now.
So does an apple.
Yes, because it oxidizes. And once you cut a fruit, if you cut orange juice, or you know everybody's in the juicing now, and that's good. The juice man has really been a good service. But the juice you juice, if you don't drink it within 15 minutes, then you lose the nutrient value of it because it leaves. It oxidizes. Now, let's go over this a moment. You peel a potato, it turns brown in your hand. You ever go to the supermarket and you get them already cut up? ready to be French fries. They snowy white.
Yeah.
Now, you see, when you can't go and be too intelligent. That's the problem. See, when you go there and you say, I'm Professor Jones, and I just like to talk to the manager. But why are these potatoes white? No, you have to just go in ghetto. Hey, come here. Now, when I cut the potato at home, they turn brown. Now, how is it now that they snowy white?
Yeah.
Now, see, that honesty is just, they'll answer you quick. They say, oh, well, they bleach them in formaldehyde. Now, you know formaldehyde is what they embalm dead
They
folks
embalm
with.
dead folk with, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, all except the Egyptians. The Egyptians had something that nobody has ever touched.
The Egyptians
Yeah.
had something.
And embalming fluid.
I can tell you what it was.
What was it?
Garlic. That's what it was. Garlic. Garlic. That's what it was.
You mean garlic juice?
Garlic juice. Yeah. If you ate 3 pieces of garlic right now, and then 3 pieces tomorrow, and 3 pieces the next day, you know what you'll find out?
Right.
The most poisonous snake in the world could bite you, and it wouldn't affect you because garlic repels all bacteria, all poison. They did it with garlic. All this great mystery.
There's no mystery.
Man, my daughter came to me, one of them, and says, God, you know, when they talking funny now, they getting ready to hit for some money.
Yeah.
God, you know, ain't they lovely? They kiss somebody one time, they know more about love than you. Well, Jesus Christ, Dad, you just don't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got 10 babies here. How do you think y'all got here? Being public? This daughter comes to me and she says, Dad, I need some money. I'm going to Egypt. I said, okay. To see the pyramids. I said, none of mine. I said, why? You see, the pyramids, tomorrow, we just had a very important day pass called the winter solstice. Okay? That means the sun stops moving. I'm going to put it right here. For 3 days. And it comes across for 3 days. That's called death of the sun. Then it starts back moving. You know, the sun moves at a right angle. Now follow this.
All right.
So for 90 days, the first time, that's spring. 90 more days is called the longest day. That's summer. The sun's at the top. Then it comes down. 90 days and that. That's where the pyramid comes from. The Egyptians invented nothing. The Egyptians was dumb enough to believe that if they built a pyramid, and when they died, if somebody put them in it here, in 3 days they come back out. Now I'm gonna give my daughter some money to go look at a coffin.
I thought the pyramids was built because of a king wanted to be the greatest.
You know that he put his old lady in it when he died. He put his children in it, the maid, the butler, the dog, the family. They were stupid enough to believe they was coming back. They put everything in it. And they was walking in there and said, yeah. You see, white folks is a trip, man. Dracula. You ever see Dracula?
Yeah.
Dracula, a stone criminal.
Yeah.
I'm going to the movie looking at Dracula, and he's not this murdering, he's Count Dracula. Now, can you imagine, man, if me and you see on some television, me, you, and Jose, and they pull our pickup truck over, and they say, nigga, who is you? And he say, I'm Count Jose Williams. Somewhere, when you stop and understand the diet, what we have here, this great body that we have, you have to drink 8 glasses of water a day. You have to. Must. People say, well, I can't drink water because my body holds water. You don't say that, right?
Yeah.
Oh, sugar diabetes running my family. That's because you eat, the diet runs in the family. When you stop eating what your mother and father ate, because they're eating what their mother and father ate, and they're eating what their mother and father ate, and when you change the diet, sugar diabetes will leave. It's just that simple. Why does it seem to be so hard that everything we have, every sickness, every disease, that's not normal? It comes from what we eat or the environment. Now, I can be sitting
Wait a
on
minute.
top.
What you said, if you change the diet
Change the diet.
and you got sugar diabetes, it'll leave.
It'll leave. And it also will leave the family. I'm eating, look, your grandmother cooked fried chicken so good, and my grandmother didn't cook it that good. All right, so you say, come on, man, can't nobody cook fried chicken like my grandmother, right?
Okay.
Do all chickens taste the same when they raw?
I don't know. I guess they do.
All right, so then it must not have nothing to do with the chicken.
No, it's the way it's prepared.
Then we talking about we're not hooked to the chicken, we're hooked to the herbs. All right? We're hooked to the ingredients that they put on it, not the chicken.
Yeah.
all meatloaf tastes the same if me and you sit and ate ground beef raw. So then what makes your mother's meatloaf taste different than my mother's meatloaf? So we are hooked to the herbs. We're hooked to the seasoning, not to the meat, to all of the stuff that will kill us. So when you look at the human body, why do my body hold water? Your body hold water because it know you dumb enough not to drink enough water, so it better keep what it...
So if you drink enough water, your body won't hold water.
Won't hold it, and water's a diuretic. And all y'all sitting out there who overate for Christmas, let me just tell you something. First, what you need to do, those of y'all sitting out there listening now, got this heartburn, you need to go get you some burnt toast. Burn it. That blackness on the burnt toast, that's charcoal. And that would just go down there and cool it out. The old folks, you say, well, I'm going to go eat some of this burnt toast, get this gas off my stomach. I had somebody heard me say this and bumped into me at the airport. And they said, Mr. Oh, I heard you on this show and you said about, and it works. How'd you know?
How much burnt toast does one have to eat?
How much burning do you have in your chest?
Oh, that it equals to that.
You know, when you ever had, when you get through eating, especially them ghetto soul food.
Yeah.
Soul food and kill more black folks than the Ku Klux Klan. You ever had that burning, you ever had that thing in your chest where...
It seems like you're going to burn up.
You got the belch and fart at the same time and can't do neither.
Yeah.
And it's just laying there. And you say, oh, Lord, oh. I think God made people have heartburn just so God can get his name called. Oh, God! You know how many people never mention God?
Until they hurt.
Until, oh, God! And then all at once, it happens. It happens. It comes through. And you rearrange it.
Yeah.
And you say, and you smile. All right, take you some burnt toast and just make it real black. Someone said, how'd you know about that? I said, I remember one time my mother told me to stay out the kitchen. You know how you sneak in the kitchen? And I toasted me some toast and burn it. And I looked around. You know how children, I threw it out the window. And I saw this crippled dog eating that burnt toast. 2 days later, I looked out, that dog wasn't crippled.
Oh, come on, Dick. Come on.
What?
That's a fantasy you talking. 2 days later, the dog wasn't crippled. You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Well,
all right, so you are saying to us now that we really shouldn't drink cow's milk.
No cow's milk.
Nor goat milk.
Nor goat milk, nor yogurt.
Nor yogurt.
Yeah. No dairy product. No dairy product. No.
What about cheese?
No. Do you know a cow that eats cheese? Huh? Now, wait a minute. Let me ask you something now. If cows produce the milk that they make cheese from,
Yeah.
if you knew a German, because Germans supposed to be good at making beer, right? If you knew a German that made beer, but found out them Germans wouldn't drink it, I mean, you think twice before you drink it, right?
That's right.
Okay, if your grandmother made this fantastic cheesecake, but she never ate none, right?
Right.
Then I think twice before I eat something. So no dairy product is good for you at all, especially black folks. They have a lower tolerance for dairy products than by.
You know, I've heard this before, but I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't bank on that.
Arthritis, coffee is probably the #1 killer. There's more stomach cancer caused every day from drinking coffee than lung cancer from smoking cigarettes. I'm going to say that again. There's more stomach cancer caused every day in America from drinking coffee than lung cancer from smoking cigarettes. That caffeine is in soda pop. We give a soda pop to our children and then wonder why they drug addicts when they get up. Okay? And 1 cup of coffee shuts the function of your liver and kidneys down for 24 hours. Can you imagine what happened with the... Let me tell you what we do.
Can you hold that a minute?
Yes.
We'll be right back, and thank you for staying there. Don't go away. The man has plenty more to talk to. Talking to Dick Gregory. Dick, you just made a statement. You said 1 cup of coffee cuts the kidneys, shuts the kidneys down for 24 hours.
Just to filter the poison out. And it can't do no other function.
Is coffee that poison?
It's that poison, yes, it's that poison. And I'll tell you something else. Not only that poison, but that addictive. Let's play a game. I'm your grandson, right? And I'm smoking reefers. And me and you as partners. I don't like my daddy, which is your son. But me and you is tight.
Yeah.
So you come to the table, and I say, Grandpa, I just read something about coffee. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to put your coffee on the table and put my reefers on the table. We're going to sit here a week. You don't drink no coffee, I won't smoke no reefer. Yeah, you know you love me. You
That
know
won't work.
it won't work.
That won't work.
It won't work. I mean, it is one of the most,
Coffee is that bad.
the number one addiction. Nicotine's number 2, whiskey's number 3, and the drugs is way back behind that.
Yeah.
You know, but yet and still, we got everybody believing it's the hard drugs that's, it's not.
What about sugar?
Sugar is so addictive. See, first you have to understand where white refined sugar come from.
Well, I know when I was down on the farm, we used to put it in the grinder, and the mule would walk around it
Yep.
and squeeze the juice out of the sugar cane.
Out the sugar cane.
Right.
Now, that's one of the highest forms of vitamin B you can find.
The
Okay?
sugar
The sugar cane is B, the B complex. Then at the bottom of the pit, when you take it the next step, that's where your blackstrap molasses comes from.
Yeah.
That's your high potassium in there.
Yeah.
And then after they get through with all the junk, then they grind it up and put chemicals with it. And the last thing they do in the sugar refinery before they complete the process of sugar is add an artificial sweetener to it, because at that point it's not sweet. You said it when you grind, you took all the sweet out.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it just a game.
Yeah.
And if you talk to teachers, if you could find a teacher that was teaching before they had the school lunch program, and say, I just want you to close your eyes and just visualize when the school lunch program come in, what happened? That's when they lost control of the students. The chemicals, the sugar, the additives in the food. I mean, they have no control. And if you took teachers now and interviewed them and say, what happens to school after lunch? They have no more control. Those they kick in. Let's go to the store with me right now, okay? And we're going to get a can of carrots, right? That's all we went to. Well, we want a can of carrots, right?
Right.
So on the label, it says ingredients, right?
Yeah.
Now, we went to buy some carrots, right?
Yeah.
There's 27 words listed in ingredients, of which 20 we can't pronounce. Okay, now all I went here is to get some carrots.
Yeah.
What is this here in the can that y'all selling me that I didn't ask for? Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And then, but we wouldn't do that for automobile. Remember, I said, what's that you drinking? I said, I don't know, give me some. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Say, man, what's that you putting in your car? I don't know, don't put it in mine. You see? If I can't
We
button
care
up,
more about our automobile than we do our
I
pipe.
can't button up my safety belt because it'll wrinkle my outfit. You think going through that plate glass window won't wrinkle it?
It sure will. And
But
cut it,
most
too.
folks I know, if they were told buttoning up their seat belt would give them 2 more miles to the gallon.
They do it.
You know how many people, if they found out smoking cigarettes in the automobile would corrode their engine, would stop smoking immediately in their car?
Yeah.
Now, is that incredible?
Yeah, that's incredible.
But they can't stop to protect this.
That's right.
And so
But
when
they'll
you
protect that
stop and look, and so let me just say to the rest of y'all out there that gained that, that 12 pounds, I was telling you about that lady down in West Palm Beach.
Yeah.
Saying, we taking her on. I met her right before Christmas. She weighs close to 600 pounds. She's been in the bed for 4 years. She broke her bone and she lost the use of her legs. And you know what it's like to talk to someone that they just want to walk down the street and let it rain on them. They want to hear the sound of stepping on leaves. You understand? And so I said we, because Lee Haney, a brother here, he's the one that broke Arnold Schwarzenegger's record. He's he's recognized all the world. And what I'm doing now...
What record did he break of Schwarzenegger?
Just the strength record. That
Oh,
pumping
yeah.
iron. Yeah, wiped him out. Sure, wiped him out. And if Clinton looks around, I think that this brother would make a good model for children. Very spiritual. He don't have that arrogance that you get out of some athletes that I did it, and he's very calm and you can see it. You know, some people you can just walk in and you say, God, I wish that would, I would like for that to be my son. Not like you don't like the children you have, but that's that edge that they have.
I don't know him.
Right here in Atlanta.
I'd like to meet him.
Well,
I'd
matter
like
of
to have
fact,
him on my show.
we'll bring him on the show.
Would you?
Yes, because we putting a business venture together.
Okay.
My children, I have a daughter here, Pam, that has a company. But let me tell you what I'm going to do with this. I'm hooking the diet weight loss to his knowledge of strength and building the muscles. Because see, when you're overweight, you got muscles that get flabby.
Okay.
And I really haven't known how to put that piece back together.
I can't imagine you are not knowing
No,
something
really.
about anything.
Let me tell you something. That's why I left Walter Hudson. when Walter Hudson, remember that big 1,500-pound guy?
Yeah.
When Walter Hudson, we carried him from 1,500 pounds to 600 pounds in 4 months.
I remember.
And when I found out he would not walk out that door, I said, Walter, what is wrong with you is out of the realm of my knowledge. It's in your head.
Yeah.
I thought, fat, I can handle that. Before that Holyfield fight, when Riddick Bowe came to me and he said, I weigh 285 pounds, his manager, Rock Newman, said, we got to get him down to 235 in 6 weeks. I know you can do it. Hey, let's go. I brought him to 230, then pumped him up 5 pounds. That's no problem. But I told him I have nothing.
How in the world you bring a man down 45 pounds in 6 weeks? I mean, you know, practically, I'm saying, if you can do this for Bo, you can make a fortune making women lose weight.
Well, there's a fortune out there. It's $39 billion every year of weight loss. I mean, let me tell you how you see, I didn't invent nothing. These are herbs that God put here. I didn't make. I was in your automobile tonight. There's about 3,000 different parts to that automobile. Mm-hmm. If I had to buy those 3,000 parts and put them together, I'd never own a car. Okay? All right, it's the same thing about vitamins. I have learned the wisdom and knowledge of putting the right combinations together. And in the process of putting those right combinations together, this one kicks into this one kicks into this. And when I was able to say to Riddick Bowe, the only problem you will have in that fight, now, nothing I have will enhance your skills. Mm-hmm. If you're not world-class athlete when I get you, doctor, there's nothing I can do. Sitting with Otis Nixon, told him the same thing. Man, you're a hell of a baseball player. Nothing I got can make, but I can increase your energy level 1,000%. And for a boxer, I can increase your ability to take a blow. We'll go in and clean out the engine and overhaul the motor.
Well, I want to know, what basically did you do for Bo?
Cleaned out through the herbal, mineral, vitamin, raw juice. The word became famous. He called it maggot juice. And that's a combination of beets, that purple bluish color in beet juice, that's cobalt. Okay? These people go get cancer treatment, they hit them with them cobalt treatment. Cobalt's in beets. I give him beets, carrots, 2 different types of cabbage, red and green, celery, lettuce, tomatoes, put it all together and then add it.
Can you hold it a minute?
Yes, uh-huh.
All right, we'll be right back. We're getting the diet that Bo ate from this man to lose 45 pounds in 6 weeks. That's a lot of weight.
That is.
Well, thank you. We're still talking to Dick Gregory. Dick, you were saying what, right quick, because we don't have too much more time.
I was just talking about the human body, the beauty of the human body, what the human body can take, and we were discussing AIDS.
Well, we didn't discuss AIDS too much. Tell me this. Where did this AIDS come from?
It came out of Fort Detrick, Maryland. This government invented it.
For
and
what?
One day the truth is going to come out. Well, let me tell you when I started getting suspicious of AIDS. When I heard them say that we got a neutron bomb, remember that?
Yeah.
Kills people but leaves what? Buildings standing, right?
Right.
So I first said, well, who told us that? Where'd that information come from? I said, maybe some peace group stole it. He said, no, the Pentagon told us. Oh, the Pentagon is giving away information on themselves? If I come to the front door and say, 3 of my children just committed suicide, that's nothing you brag about. So then if you're a cop, you better check it for murder. Okay? Mm-hmm. So I got to checking around. And you folks out there, do something. Find some scientists and ask them if a neutron bomb falls on your house, how long will it be before you can walk in it? Over 100 and some years. Mm-hmm. So why would you drop something on a building to kill people, but you can't go into it for 100 years, maybe 1,000 years? And then I realized then they was talking about germ warfare.
Yeah.
And now it was just a matter now of waiting for this germ.
Where did this thing come from that AIDS started on the coast of Africa or something?
Well, that's in a racist society. Now, let me tell you how it works. You see, white racist people have never been a problem. It's a white racist mentality, of which I have. You have. You cannot be born in America and not have a white, or live here without having a white racist mentality and a sexist mentality. So they can run game down, and we totally forget what happened. We totally forget that here, the first 4.5 years of AIDS, and the records right here, Center for Disease Control. It was only 2 cities on the whole planet that had AIDS. New York City and San Francisco. And they was all white. All right? And nobody said, well, wait a minute. If AIDS is a homosexual thing, how come the first 4.5 years there wasn't one case in a jail or a penitentiary? See, they forgot that. How come it's not running rampant in jails and penitentiaries now? How come for the first 4.5 years when it was in New York and San Francisco, how come the white gays wasn't getting it in Gooseneck, Nebraska? And the main question you have to ask yourself, how can I as a gay die from something new if I'm not doing nothing new? How is it people been shooting up with needles for 200 years? They just start using dirty needles? So I say to all you drug addicts out there, don't let nobody give you a free needle because they can put this. Now, the little old lady that stands out there to do and say, here's a free needle. They're honest. They mean to help. But they don't know they come out the pharmaceutical company. That's the same thing Hitler and them Nazis was doing, man. And so all at once, how can you love me so much you going to give me a needle so I can't get AIDS, but you don't love me enough to give me the facility to break the addiction? That's some kind of love, right?
Ken, in your way of thinking, we got to go back to the studio. We got too many commercials, maybe.
Yeah, we got enough commercials.
I want you to tell me in the next 60 seconds how possibly could you cure AIDS?
You cure AIDS by the name. How do you cure poverty? You give me some money, right? And you wipe out poverty, right? Don't tell me about going to Morehouse or Harvard. Give me some money. Money wipes out poverty. Immune deficiency breakdown. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Then just reverse the name. If immune deficiency breakdown causes AIDS, then switch the immune deficiency breakdown. Build up the immune system. How do you do that? With herbs, with vitamins, with minerals. And it changes. Just as simple.
We'll be right back. We'll be right back with you. Thank you. With Dick Gregory, and we got to go, Dick. I wish we had more time.
We have got more time. I'll be back.
When you coming back?
I'm going to get Lee Haney, and we're going to come back, and we're going to talk about the whole food thing. Matter of fact, let some people send some questions in.
All right.
You know, we'll talk about the whole thing. What you should eat, how you should eat. But right now, just quickly, take fruit in the morning, fruit for lunch, and take you a cup of rice and cook it, and put you some garlic in a blender, put you some soy sauce in a blender, 6 tablespoons of soy sauce, 6 tablespoons of olive oil, and a half onion, blend it up, heat it, and put over that, and you'd be surprised how fast you lose that weight and cleanse the body.
Rice.
Cook a cup of rice.
Cook a cup of rice.
That's all you're going to eat now. You're not eating nothing else.
All day.
All day. Fruit twice a day.
Okay.
Cook a cup of rice. That's a big old pan now when you cook it.
Yeah, okay.
Put in the blender 6 tablespoons of olive oil, 6 tablespoons of soy sauce, a half an onion, 4 pieces of fresh garlic. Blend it up. All right? Now put in a saucepan and heat it. Put that over the rice and eat nothing but that. It tastes good. You know? You got your herbs there. It tastes good and it cleanses the body.
Is this what you did for Bo?
No, I did that 3 days with him. I just see. Remember, Bo is running every day, so he's throwing the mucus off the body. Quickly, let me say this. You know these ladies that's running the marathons now, and there's this big, huge complaint about they not having the menstruation period, and the doctors is talking about operate, giving them medicine. The menstruation period is to get the filth out the body. When they running 15 miles a day in training, they sweat the filth out the body, so there's no need to have a menstruation period, and doctors haven't put that piece together.
Dick, we got to go. I wish we could spend some more time. Thank you. And we'll see you next Sunday. We'll have somebody else. I hope Dick can come back again, but if he can't, we'll have somebody else for your entertainment. And have a good week. Have a happy new year, would you please? Good night.
Over 600 million.